Hey guys, Brandon Willem, CCM Magazine, today hanging out in the CCM Cafe here in Nashville with Zane and Donna King. How are you?
Hello, sir. It's so good to be with you.
Yeah, it took 3 albums to get you here, but you're finally in the CCM Cafe.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Good to be here, Brandon.
Yeah, so everything good, now been out less than a week. Let's talk about it and what people can expect when they get that on their playlist.
Well, we are so excited about this record. It's 12 songs. We've been working on it a long time, a very long time. But it is really special to our heart. We have done a lot. I love what you said, actually, babe, when you were talking the other day. We were just talking with someone, and he said, we try to bring some rhythm and a beat, some funky instruments to sometimes a heavy message, sometimes a light message, or sometimes in between, just because everybody needs to feel something good when they're listening to a song. And so we kind of...
It's kind of like a warm hug.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. That was the perfect way to put it. It's like a warm hug. So we tried to just hug everybody with every song.
Yeah, and at least the 2 songs you're saying today, they weren't necessarily raise your hands, praise the Lord, worship gospel, but they weren't Jesus songs. But these were story Jesus songs, and some of these songs very personal to you guys. Talk about the story behind one of the songs you did today, From the Basement to the Altar.
Yeah, man, I tell you, this song here kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, we'd written it many years ago, and then we kind of shelved the song and decided not to record it. And then Stowtown, our record label, Mary Alice, she said, no, she said, you got to have that on the record. And so we put it back on the record, and in the last few months, as we've been finishing everything up and then letting people kind of hear the song, I mean, God has been doing something with this. And you know, our journey with our family starts over 10 years ago. We've had 2 children that really suffered tremendously from drug addiction, and that put us on a road to recovery. And we jumped into a community just trying to figure out how to deal with life and what was next, and because we were hurting, and absolutely we're just in a place where we didn't know what to do and where to turn, but God was there at leading us little by little. And that's a lot of what this song talks about, is just step by step. It's finding His grace, and it is finding from a place in life when you feel like you can't go any further down, and you're at really like rock bottom, and you're in that basement. And of course, that's where a lot of our meetings were taking place, in a church, in a basement. And we're talking about the 12-step program and what God could do in our life, but just turning it over to Him. And then this song here talks about that hand that helps you and pulls you from the basement to the altar.
And it's so interesting because we went to these meetings that are parents of struggling children, and we went to these meetings because we wanted to figure out how to fix our kids. And what we came to realize is how much help we needed ourselves. And actually that the 12 steps of the program kind of, they apply to us, that we turn our will and our lives over to the care of God, that we recognize that God is able to restore us to sanity. When you walk in those rooms and your children are broken and you're scared to death, when they're on the streets or they're in the back of a cop car, you're not exactly sure how you're going to make it through another sleepless night, or how you're going to make it through the next day. And you need that reminder, and you need it from parents who are suffering like you, who are further along in the journey or not, to kind of help you understand that if you let go and let God, amazing things can happen. And we can't always choose the road for our children. In fact, we cannot choose the road for our children, period. But what we can do is equip ourselves by the grace of God to walk that road and allow them the dignity of their own recovery. And that was something that we learned. And our children find balancing between what we helped with and what we didn't. Our children today are thriving and doing amazing. And so, yes, while we did think, oh, maybe that's not the song that should go on the record, God had other plans for it. And it's incredible to watch what is happening with it. And we're super grateful. And so we hope that what happens through this is that we will be able to help other parents, other family members, other friends of addicts, and the people who don't get talked to or talked about as much. You know, a lot of people do focus on the addict and that and or the alcoholic or whatever the struggle is, and that's important. But it's also important for that support network to understand how to take the next step forward. And I'm so happy that my husband sang it, because I think he gave his heart to it, and I hope that it ministers to people.
Yeah, I feel like just in the 7-8 years that I've been involved in Christian music too, this topic's starting to come kind of out of the basement. When I first got here, it was kind of taboo to even mention the word drugs.
Basement.
Yeah, it was stuck down there, and now I'm hearing more songs. Even in the Southern gospel world,
That's right.
There's been 2 or 3 people coming this year that have had similar songs to this. And it's like, whoa, that's
right.
That's good that's coming out of the basement and into the actual church.
That's
I
right.
think God's moving. And one thing 10 years ago, you're right, because we look back when we started this journey with our kids and our own journey for recovery, I call it the casserole problem. Because when your kid is in addiction, and your neighborhood, your family, your friends, even your church, they don't sometimes know what to do. But if your kid was diagnosed with leukemia, cancer, you would have more casseroles at your front doorstep than you could eat in a month.
Yeah.
And so it's been hard. It's a hard subject to talk about. And
It feels lonely.
And there's not a lot of answers. There's not a lot of definitiveness in it. And yet, through where we are now, 10 years later, and I think why God is prompting us to move forward and talking about this message is because, one, He's moving, but also the problem is just so big. I mean, it is so bad that, and families everywhere, churches everywhere are being impacted by this. And they need to know that they didn't cause it, they can't cure it, and they can't control it. But what we can do is we can pray, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can. And here's the important part, the wisdom to know the difference. And I pray that prayer every single day. And we literally 10 years ago started that prayer and that journey, and God has done amazing, amazing things in our life.
What was your kid's reaction when you took this song to them and let them hear it for the first time?
Oh, man.
Well, my son's reaction was, Dad, you're singing pretty good now. It's literally what he said.
You know, my daughter, and we're a blended family. We have 6 children.
Wow.
And we have a daughter and a son who can tell their own story about this road. But it's a beautiful story from both of them, and we're so, so proud of them. But my daughter is always, she is the sweetest human being on earth. She's always just saying, I'm so proud of you, Mom. What you do matters. You know, she's always giving us encouragement. And I'm going to cry because just to see how far our kids have come, there have been moments that we've said to both of them, and all of our children actually, we really look up to you. You know, you want to be parents your kids can look up to, but we really look up to our kids. And we're really proud of them. And I think that they're proud of us, and I hope that God will honor our hearts in being able to help people on this journey.
Let's talk about one of the other songs on the album, Who You Listen To, a little bit.
Yeah, so I have been one of those folks, one of those people, one of those humans who tends to let voices into my life that I don't need to listen to. And I'm not even talking about human voices. I'm talking about those thoughts and the devil himself trying to discourage us and all the things. And it really has weighed heavily on my own heart. And I wrote down this idea. As a songwriter, we're always doing that. We're jotting notes in our notepad and our phone. And I wrote down this idea that it matters who you listen to. And I brought that to 2 of my sweet friends, Wendy Ferguson and Rachel Barentine, at a songwriting retreat, and asked if they might be willing to write it with me. And I feel like it went where it needed to go, and that is that if you are right now feeling like you're not good enough, you're too old, you're too young, you're too shy, you're too much, you're too whatever, those are not truths. The truth is that God made you in his image, that you are loved, that you are precious, that you matter, and that everything that he put you on this earth for, he is providing a way for you to live that out. And so to believe that, to listen to the voice of God over any other voice, to believe in his love for you and believe in who he sees you as, is what we hoped would come from that song. And I pray that that's what people hear when they hear that song. And thank you so much for letting us share it, because we're wanting to encourage people, and that's the goal behind these songs. And so who you listen to matters.
So outside of these 3 albums you guys put out, I mean, there's a lot of works from Zane and Donna out there in the country and Christian world too. So let's talk about some of the other stuff that people may not even know you're involved in.
Okay, well, there is a particular song. Okay? So I write with a wonderful young country artist who is incredible named Riley Roth, and we wrote a song we wrote it for her mom for Mother's Day, and because she knew I was a mom, and because we write together in that kind of vein, she asked for me to help her write this song for her mom for Mother's Day. And it's called When God Made You My Mother. And crazy enough, this song has completely blown up and is in the millions and millions of streams and views and all the social media areas. And I just can't buy it. Sometimes it's like, I tell her all the time, I'm so grateful you let me come in the room. And she's like, and she expresses that she's grateful that I wrote it with her, and because she's a sweetheart. But I'm so excited to be a part of that song, and it has become particularly special to me because my mom is in heaven now. She went to heaven in 2023, and we had some hard times in our life. But there's a lyric in that song that we wrote that at the end of the chorus that says, when God made you my mother, he was being good to me. And whoever our mom is, that's what God was doing, because where we belonged is where we belong for whatever reason that God puts us on the journey. And I had a beautiful, wonderful mom. In the end, we had tons of healing and beauty. And Riley has like the rock star mom of the universe. So the whole entire thing was easy for her to say all the good things about Mama. So we're excited about. I mean, I'm blown away about that song. And we just wrote another one that I can't reveal yet because there's a super surprise about it. But it might. I don't know what might happen with it. But we just wrote another one for a special occasion. But anyway, I'll just leave it at that. And maybe everyone will find out eventually.
And then today we got you on the acoustic guitar, but normally in a situation where it's a little easier to carry a steel guitar, you would be here picking on a steel guitar.
That's right.
Well, I've been pedaling for a long time now, and started when I was about 9 years old on steel guitar. And of course, I moved to Nashville because I wanted to be a steel guitar player. And so people can find me on YouTube. They can punch my name in. They'll see.
And who have you helped with steel guitar? Can I name drop? He won't.
Do it.
I'll let you name drop because you wouldn't name drop if I didn't tell you to name drop. But I mean, we're not name droppers by profession. But I mean, I think this is kind of special since the guy that he's been helping along with a little steel guitar journey is a guy that I had on posters when I was a teenager in my bedroom called Teen Beat. Who is it?
So funny. Peter Frampton. Yeah.
For those that
He's getting a big award on Sunday.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So he's had the pleasure of spending a little time with him.
The steel has opened up a lot of doors for me, and it's been a big part of my life and my career. And what's interesting is through the years, I have kind of, I wouldn't say much about it at times, and I'd work with whether I was producing a record or I was working with an artist in some other capacity. And then they would find out I played the steel guitar, and they're like, why didn't you say something about that? And I'm like, well, it didn't come up. And but I do enjoy it, and I do a lot of experimentation with it. So a lot of guitar players and around the world really, kind of follow what I do. And so it's a big part of what we do, actually. And so, you're right. If I could, it was easy to bring.
You had a tech to bring it in.
That's right. Yeah, but it's a lot of work to pull around. But anyway, thanks for asking. Yeah.
We never saw the steel guitar disappear, but when pop country came along, it kind of went to the back of the stage, and now even those guys are bringing it out to the front.
Well,
and Nissan Stadium this weekend for CMA Fest, we're going to see steel guitar for probably even all those big acts that are out there.
Like American Idol. I mean, they had it on.
That guy was right out in the
They
front.
put him right there with the singer, and it's had a resurgence. There's no question, and so that's been fun to be a part of.
I saw Jelly Roll last night at the Grand Ole Opry. Even he had his steel guitar player front and center.
Come
know.
on, come on
Well,
with it.
The sound is just
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing sound
Yeah.
that you get with those slides, and so
And people heard the sounds. People were probably playing it on tracks and behind the stage. But now it's out front. Now they see where it's coming from. So they're learning a lot about
They
the steel
do,
guitar.
and they often think it's an organ or a keyboard or something like that.
What
and
is that thing?
Yeah, but little by little, people are discovering what it is. So.
But what's cool is the company that you represent is coming out with a 6-string, so that it can be more guitar players can pick it up, and that was one of the things.
Now you're going to get me in promotion mode here. So.
That had come up with Peter Frampton because he was
Right.
wanting to be able
That's
to play something and as a guitar player. And by the way, I just want to throw out, I've not met him because I haven't wanted to be that awkward fan wife going out with my husband to his house. But my husband said he is the most genuine, sweetest
Yes,
person.
he is.
The
He's
12
great.
that he has been with him. So anyway, side note.
Yeah, the point is that we're trying to simplify. The steel guitar is a very complicated instrument with pedals and knee levers and lots of strings, sometimes double necks and all that. So what I've been on a mission the last few years is to simplify it. And so I pared it down to 6 strings and 2 pedals and 2 simple levers, and we're letting guitar players just have all kinds of fun with it, and it might even grow the instrument.
Jackson Steele, I am going to say because I love Susan Jackson and Karen Peck and New River.
Yeah.
Her husband is him and his brother are in Jackson Steele. Sweet people.
We need that to do well so there can be a 4th Zane and Donna.
That's right. Exactly. Thank you.
Well, from the basement to the altar, I'm playing steel guitar on that one. So,
Yep.
Yeah.